In today's Leeds news, new leadership group, Szmodeks update, Elland Road expansion detail, 49ers primed for exit replacements, and the daily wrap-up. Hi folks, Ger here on Wednesday morning, the 24th of July. 17 days left till the start of the season and a rumoured friendly kicking off in Germany at some point today. I've had a look around and I can't see anything on LUTV just yet, and there's nothing planned for YouTube. I would imagine it'll end up on YouTube. It's supposed to be against Hanover, but currently nothing on that game just yet. Crazy day yesterday, lots of stuff happened. We'll get into that in a few minutes. And today we've seen the launch of the Leeds United away yellow kit with return of the Smiley badge, which you can see on your screen right now. Gotta be honest with you, I love it. I really do. It's definitely going in the basket. Possibly not today, I might wait a couple of weeks, but definitely going in the basket. Cracking shirt. Would love to hear it down below what you think. I've seen some people reacting obviously to the Red Bull logo on the front of it. Someone said that this is a Red Bull shirt, not a Leeds shirt, that does nothing about it as Leeds except for the yellow, the blue, the Smiley badge. You know, does that mean last season's away kit was a boxed kit? You know, stuff like that, you'd wonder. But anyway, we've got a bit of news to get into. We'll crack on, get through this. There's not a huge amount of stuff. We'll start off with the announcements yesterday around the new leadership group at Elland Road. And yesterday Leeds announced a new club captain for the first time in almost a decade, and will line up for Leeds for the first game of the season. Ethan Ampadu will become the new Leeds United club captain for the 24-25 season, and potentially longer than that as well, and he will be assisted by his vice captains Pascal Struijk and Ilan Meslier. Ampadu played practically every single minute of last season and has continued that trend into this year, where he played every minute of the friendly against Harrogate Town, the only player on the park to do so. We would like to wish Ethan every single bit of success as the captain of Leeds United. It carries a heavy burden. There are some big men that have carried that mantra of club captain, and we wish Ethan nothing but success in that role. We should also say, as one comes in, one goes out, and we should take a moment to recognise the contribution that Liam Cooper has made to Leeds United as a captain over nearly a decade of time at Leeds United. I'll say it again, regardless of whether you like Liam Cooper as a player or not, he has handled himself in an incredibly professional manner, both on and off the pitch, for Leeds United as club captain, and has represented the club fantastically in the charity work and everything else that he does off the pitch for Leeds. So as Liam Cooper now marks the next chapter of his career, I would like to say a massive thank you to everything that Liam Cooper has done for Leeds as captain, and wish him all the best in what he does in the future. Moving on to what was a crazy afternoon yesterday. Lots of stuff happened pretty quickly and then ended up being a whole lot of nothing. So we'll give you an update on that. Yesterday, according to Alan Nixon and to Alex Crook at TalkSport, they both said that Leeds were being lined up with a move for Sammy Szmodeks. We covered it yesterday in the news, where they said that Leeds had formalised their interest in a bid for the player. That got everyone talking. That got a lot of excitement happening. However, it didn't last very long. Graham Smith, Joe Donoghue and Baron Cross, the Leeds journalists, came out to say that Leeds did not make a bid for Sammy Szmodeks, and in fact Sammy Szmodeks is not a player on Leeds United's shortlist this summer. However, Nixon has doubled down on the claim, replying to a tweet from a Leeds fan. He said that Leeds must have seen the figure and ran away, which doesn't hold a huge amount of water, given that he's a likely replacement for either a Nanto or Somerville, who will bring in comfortably enough money to cover a transfer for Sammy Szmodeks. Leeds journalists claim, as I said, that Szmodeks is not part of the Leeds United shortlist of players this summer. The Mirror and TalkSport are claiming otherwise. I did try to reach out to Alan Nixon with a DM. He has read the DM, but he hasn't replied to it, so I wouldn't expect a reply from Alan Nixon on this as well. He appears to have got that one wrong. Blackburn have said, though, that any club that is interested in a move for Sammy Szmodeks has 7 days to give them what they're looking for the player, or they will move forward into next season with that player, and they will not be accepting any offers later on in the window, regardless of what they come in at. It's also rumoured that Ipswich are said to have had a £6 million upfront offer rejected, with £6 million worth of add-ons, and that's been rejected flat out. It's rumoured that they're looking for anything up and into the £20 million mark, which might be tough for them to get with the player's age and with 2 years left on his contract. But keep an eye on it. It's hard to know who to believe right now. We've seen Leeds local journalists get some dodgy information from the club over the last couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see who is being given the correct information. I would lean with the Leeds journalists. Joe Donoghue, Barron and Graham were very quick to come out yesterday with the information to remove this story. So I'm likely to lean in that direction, but we'll wait and see what happens. Moving on to the next story, and this one relates to the Elland Road expansion plans. We know that plans are in place for development work around Elland Road for the start of next season, but the question of does that depend on what division we're in still needs to be answered. Finance expert Stefan Borson has said yesterday that the expansion plan to 50,000 seats is said to be the centre of the 49ers growth and expansion plan for Leeds United. iNews reported back in April that Leeds United and the ownership were doing their due diligence at the moment, and that will be carried out over the course of this year to get ready for spades in the ground next season. Leeds have been keen to push ahead with the upgrade work, and we have heard Parag Marathe say that there was work needed to be done this year before Leeds could be spade in ground ready for the start of the pre-season next year. It now appears, though, according to this report, that Leeds will push ahead with the expansion plans next season regardless of what division Leeds United in. Should Leeds miss out on promotion to the Premier League for a second time this season, it appears the 49ers enterprises will still move ahead with plans to develop Elland Road and increase the capacity of the stadium to 50,000 seats, which would be great to see. It obviously makes getting tickets an awful lot easier to get, but the longer Leeds are out of the Premier League, the easier it will be to get tickets for Leeds games. Anyway, you would hope that they can capitalise on the interest in Leeds right now and get that up to 50,000 and then maybe 60 and move on to what it should be a massive stadium in England. So wait and see there. Moving on to the next story, and this relates to the planned replacements that the 49ers have in place should we lose Willy Gnonto and Crescencio Somerville. According to Team Talk, you know the deal with Team Talk, they claim that Leeds have drawn up a list of likely replacements, which I suppose isn't news. You would imagine Leeds would have that done. That's not the story, I suppose. Told back early in the summer that if a high-profile player was to leave Leeds United this summer, that they would be replaced with a similar calibre of profile player. As things stand right now, Leeds United do not need to sell any player and are sticking firm on their valuations for these two individuals right now. Everton may change their focus away from Gnonto after confirming the loan of Jesper Lindstrom with an option to buy there, as well as a failed takeover that's happened last week, which might curtail their interest in the player. Team Talk claimed that Gnonto is still wanted by Everton though, but Leeds are looking for £25 million for the player, which would be, by the way, more than enough to cover a purchase of Sammy Smolux, should they want that. Somerville, on the other hand, has had two approaches, one from Brighton and Hove Albion and one from West Ham United, which have both only really been approaches, and both clubs have walked away after hearing the fee quoted by Leeds United. AS Roma were said to be interested in a €17 million move for the player, which won't happen. There is still some interest in that, but nothing really formalising itself into an official bid for either player right now. The Everton situation with Gnonto was said to be a race this week, that they wanted to get it done and dusted this week so that he can be part of their pre-season tour and their plans. That is limping on. Gnonto is still in training at Leeds, is still working away. There hasn't been an official bid, but they claim that if they do move, that Greta Steinson and Nick Hammond have high-profile players lined up to replace them. The players in question are Jezrom Rak-Saki as well as Jack Clark. Now, there is some more detail I'll give you in a second on both of those players, but they are said to be the two players that Leeds are looking at replacing Gnonto and Somerville with should they leave. There's also talk about Leeds moving to a new system next season and maybe replacing the wide winger options with more inside 10s, similar to what Daniel Farke did during his time at Norwich. Wrap up then some of the rumour mill stuff that was going around yesterday and give you some more detail on the Jack Clark and Rak-Saki situations. We'll start off with the Harrison Burrows stuff. And yesterday on TalkSport, Darragh McAnthony let it slip that he had accepted 5 bids for Harrison Burrows, one of which was Sheffield United, who the player was rumoured to be having a medical with. At the same time, he mentioned Leeds in the same breath, which started rumours that Leeds may have a bid accepted for Harrison Burrows. Leeds United, the Leeds local journalists came out, put us all at ease and said that wasn't the case. He has gone to Sheffield United for £3 million, which is a snip, by the way, for a very good left full. Would have been a nice signing for Leeds, but apparently Leeds were not in the conversation for the player. A player that has moved on from Leeds United and now seems to have found himself a new club, and that's Jan Poveda. Jan Poveda was expected to go to Sheffield Wednesday, where he spent last season on loan, but instead now he has opted for Sunderland. The player has been pictured outside Sunderland's training ground getting some photographs taken. There was interest in Poveda from Burnley and Luton as well, but the player has decided to try and kickstart his career at Sunderland for next season. Another player whose future is unknown, who has already left Leeds United, and that's Liam Cooper. With the confirming of a new captain yesterday, that suggests that Liam Cooper's time at Leeds United is firmly finished, and the player was expected to head to Blackburn, who he said they've been having talks with. Those talks apparently at the moment have come to a standstill, and Blackburn may be moving on to other targets. It's now been reported this morning that Sunderland may also be interested in making a move for Liam Cooper and bringing him into the stadium given light on a free transfer. On the Rak-Sakyi and Jack Clarke situations, Leeds are said to have an interest in Rak-Sakyi. There's a bit of a situation with Crystal Palace. Palace don't really want to sell the player. A loan would suit them, which you would imagine would be perfect for Leeds' situation. However, it's now said that Southampton are looking at buying the player, although Palace are said not to be too keen on selling as they see him as a long-term prospect, but they might look at selling him in this window should a decent offer for the player come in. So it looks like Rak-Sakyi could be on his way to Southampton. On the Jack Clarke situation, as exciting as it is, I'd love to see Jack Clarke come back. Pour a bit of cold water on that now. It's been said that he is seen as a replacement for Chris Summerville, and if Leeds can get the £45 million for Chris Summerville, then the £20 million asking price for Jack Clarke from Sunderland might be something that's achievable. However, it has been reported this morning that Ipswich are poised to make a bid for Clarke and are likely to try and get the player, although what Ipswich spending power isn't known yet. £20 million would be a stretch, could be an awful lot of money. It's a big signing for them, and one big signing with a huge outlay of money that could go elsewhere in that squad. So it remains to be seen what happens there. If Leeds do sell Somerville, you would imagine that £45 million could then be used, £20 million of that to bring in a player like Jack Clarke, meaning you've still got £25 million sitting in the bank or spread out over a couple of years to pay off the other payments that Leeds will have to keep an eye on. So that's what's going on right now, folks. There's a bit of noise, a bit of rumour, not a whole lot of fact, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll be back later on if anything pops up. The podcast will be out tomorrow night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you then.